Juliet Sanders. I live in the beautiful countryside just above Henley upon Thames, and I lovingly call myself a recovering lawyer. So about 2 years ago, I leapt out of being a full-time permanent employee as a GC for some of the big consumer brands and decided I was going to go alone, and I was going to do two things. I was going to set up a legal consultancy called The Legal Space, and at the same time I was going to co-found a business with my sister called Being Human. So got quite a lot on. I've got a young family. My daughter is 6, my son is 8. Quite like the perfect time to be starting off on my own.
Brilliant. So before working on your business strategy with me, Claire, how would you describe the way your business was operating?
Clueless, in one word. I suppose I've been fortunate enough to work in a lot of businesses that are led by founders, and that's wonderful. And you see them running a business and you think, wow, how hard can this be? And then you start running your own business and the answer is it's really blimmin' hard. I genuinely felt I kind of was riding this wave, I suppose. When I started, I was like, yeah, I've totally got this. And pretty quickly I was like, I feel like it's out of control. I don't know what I'm doing. I think the background of me being a lawyer meant that I'm naturally very risk averse. I like to be in control. I had none of those things. From overnight, I'd gone from being a permanent employee who was getting a salary and a paycheck at the end of every month and being a specialist in my own field to setting up my own business. The uncertainty, trying to do finance and marketing and procurement and sales and everything. It was really quite overwhelming, and it had a massive impact on me and I suppose on my family as well.
And what challenges or risks were you facing as a result of not having a documented and structured strategy?
Oh, the biggest one for me is cash flow and confidence at the same time, and not just my own confidence but the confidence of those around me. I really struggled to, when people said, oh, what's your mission, what's your purpose, I can answer them, but if they then said, well, how are you going to get there, what steps have you got in place to get there, and if my husband said to me, what steps have you got in place to meet our financial commitments, I couldn't answer him. I was absolutely winging it, didn't know what was happening from one month to the next, and actually that's incredibly anxiety inducing. It really put tension on the family. We were doing a house renovation and we had to stop. At times I just felt like I was living my most selfish, self-indulgent life by setting up a business, but now I kind of look back, it's all because I just didn't have a strategy. I was just all in.
And what was the most valuable part about working through your purpose, your vision, your values, your market position and strategic partnerships, the whole sort of strategy piece in our sessions?
I think it comes down to clarity again. I've always kind of thought that I knew what my purpose was. To a certain extent, I'm relatively clear on my values, at least in theory, but I've never really sat down and had them tested by somebody or said, actually, that's not a value, Claire, that's like an adjective. And so having that space to really sit and think about it, but then also have the space to think that actually, how do I grow a business that matches my values and my purpose and is authentic to who I am as a person, not just following the traditional corporate structure? How do I do that? Because I think that was always something that really troubled me. I knew that I wanted to have a business that felt really authentic to me, but when I looked around, you see corporate companies and you're like, but I don't want to be like them, but they seem to be successful, but I don't want to be like them, I want to be like me. So how do I be like me and not necessarily match their success but also be successful?
And how has having a documented, achievable business strategy impacted your plan and your ability to make decisions now?
I'm very much what I lovingly call like a squirrel brain. I'll be going down the track all on it, following my strategy, and then someone will say something like, we should go and do that. That sounds great. Let's go and do that. And actually, it's really helpful for me to have like a documented strategy because it really grounds me, and I really need that to come back and go, no, Claire, you can put that in the parking lot one day, but for now, this is what we're doing and this is your strategy and that's how you're going to get there. For me, just having that kind of that grounding force is incredibly powerful.
Fantastic. And what difference has this clarity and the grounding force made for your business and for you personally in terms of energy, focus and confidence?
I'm certainly a lot more confident with what I'm doing now, that I have a plan. I feel confident that if I chip away at it, I'm going to get to where I need to be. I'm so much clearer with my market positioning. If someone says to me, what do you do? What does Being Human do? I don't just crumble into a sea of like, I don't know what we do. We do nothing. I now have a way of kind of vocalizing it succinctly so that people understand, which is also great for confidence, but also for integrity. And I'm just much healthier actually as a result, because I've got rid of so much of the noise that was going around in my head and the worry and the anxiety, and knowing that I've got Juliet on the end of the phone to kind of guide me through and talk me down as well when I'm kind of going, this is a nightmare, I don't know what I'm doing. It's brilliant.
And why would you recommend another small business owner or solopreneur work with me? What's the overall value that you have had as a result? Because there are so many coaches out there, Claire. I'm not going to appeal to everybody, but what do you think is the Juliet factor that has really helped you, and why you'd recommend me to other people?
I think, and don't take this the wrong way, I think one of the things that I really appreciate is your honesty and vulnerability to say, I've done it wrong before, or I haven't succeeded before, and I've learned from that. I really, really relate to that, and I respect it, probably because actually it is part of fundamentally who I am, that authentic, the vulnerable. Whereas when I was looking at different coaches, some of them are like, oh yeah, come with me, I've grown 15 successful businesses and I've exited. And you just think, oh, yeah, okay, that's the shiny thing, but it doesn't feel like you're necessarily going to understand who I want to be. I think that was really powerful. And the fact that actually you have built a business whilst trying to juggle having children and is incredibly powerful is for me as well. To have that support on a kind of human level as well as a corporate level is really valuable.
Thank you. And I'd just like to end on a sort of light note, as midlife is all about finding a mojo. What would be the 3 words that would be the mojo words that would describe, working with me, my connections, in 3 powerful words? What would they be?
So empowering, well, that feels like a big word, doesn't it? Empowering, definitely, because I do feel empowered. Clarifying, because I think, you've really helped me seek clarity. But I'm also going to say comforting, which I think some people might think is like a weak word, but it's not at all. I talk to you like a friend as much as a coach. I think in the toughest moments, I know that there's comfort there, and there's actually a real human relationship. It doesn't always feel like a business relationship. It feels like a friend relationship, which is perfect for me.
Thank you, Claire. Thank you very much.
Yeah. You're very welcome.